All right, in this tutorial, we're going to go over how to factor quadratic expressions with a set equal to 1. So the first thing to understand is what the standard form of a quadratic expression is. And you have to write things in specific order. And your standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c, where your a, b, and c are integers. They could be positive, they could be negative, but they have to be whole numbers. And notice that they are written in decreasing order with your highest degree first. Highest degree first. Now, when you're taking this quadratic expression, and whenever you're trying to factor it into two binomials, that's what your result is going to be. You're going to try and find two numbers that multiply together to equal your c, but then at the same time, those numbers have to add together to equal your b. So two numbers that multiply your constant or your number at the end, but at the same time, those two numbers need to add together to equal your middle number. So for this first example, we're trying to find two numbers that multiply to equal 15. But then at the same time, two numbers that add to equal your 8. All of your factors of 15, if we make a t-chart, are 1 times 15, 3 times 5, -1 times -15, and -3 times -5. Now the positives and negatives will matter depending on what the sign of your actual number is. Remember, in order to get a positive 15, you multiply two positives together or you multiply two negatives together. Now, if I take these pairs of factors and I add them together, 1 plus 15 is 16. That does not give us our 8. 3 plus 5 is 8, and those are the factors that we need to use. Now, if we kept going through this, -1 and -15 is -16, -3, -5 is -8. Now, one of the bigger mistakes that I will see some people make is that they will choose these factors that give you the -8. However, it is not the same thing as a positive 8. We're looking for a positive 8 because it is a positive symbol in your B slot. Now, since those are your two numbers, since your A is equal to 1, all that means is that your final factored form as binomials is d plus 3, since it's a positive 3, times d plus 5 as a positive 5. And those are your two binomial factors of that quadratic expression. Now let's do the same thing where we're working with both positives and negatives at the same time. So we're trying to find two numbers that multiply to equal your c, which is your positive 13, but then at the same time, anything that adds to equal a -14. Now I am being sure of this negative because it is in your B position. Now 13 is prime, so that means the only factors are +1, +13, -1, -13. And since we need to get the -14, I think you can clearly see that we're going to be choosing the second group of factors because that gives you the -14 option. So the way that you write your factors in binomial form, your variable is w, -1 is your first factor, -13 is your second. Now, since these two numbers are being multiplied, the order in which you write the factors does not matter. You could write w -13 first and then w -1. It is still going to be equal to the exact same thing because anything that you multiply together, anything that you add together, the order does not matter.